A defender who hasn't played a single down all season comes back. Just as our secondary is falling apart, the $98 million guy has to face his former team while posting the worst numbers since that damn Hail Mary and the quarterback who split Chicago right down the middle just proved exactly why Ryan Poles made the right call. 3 explosive stories. 1 hard truth. Monday Night Football against Washington will either get this season off the ground or crash it for good. Stick with me to the end because what I'm about to break down will flip everything you thought you knew about this team. Let me ask you something. Do you remember when we signed Kyler Gordon to that 3-year, $40 million deal back in April? Because I sure do. I remember every word the front office said. I remember how they sold us on the idea that Gordon would be the key to turning this secondary into a force. Then training camp comes around and the guy doesn't play a single snap all regular season for weeks, for full games without one of the highest paid corners on the roster. And while Gordon was stuck on the sidelines fighting that hamstring injury, what was happening out on the field? Jalen Johnson goes down in week 2, has to get groin surgery, ends up on IR, season basically over for him. Kyler Fuller trying to plug the hole. Tyreek Stevenson trying to redeem himself after that Hail Mary that still haunts us in our sleep. But here's what nobody is talking about. Gordon wasn't on this Saturday's injury report. Full participation at practice. And Monday night, against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, he's finally making his season debut. Here's what I'm telling you, is this actually enough? Are we really hoping that a cornerback who hasn't played competitive football in months is going to be some magic fix against one of the league's most dynamic quarterbacks? Because Daniels isn't some deer-in-headlights rookie. The kid is torching defenses. And we're asking Gordon to walk in cold, with no game speed. No chemistry with the rest of the secondary this season, but let's look at the real numbers here. Gordon is 25. When he signed that $40 million extension, he locked in as one of the highest paid slot corners in the NFL, 8 figures per year. And Dennis Allen, our DC, mapped out specific roles for him, not just slot. Allen wanted Gordon on the outside too. Why? Because we need flexibility. With Johnson hurt, we need someone who can match up with any size receiver. Here's the issue I see. Fuller has been ranked 131st out of 169 corners on Pro Football Focus when he's targeted. Opposing QBS post a 105 passer rating. 105, that's basically assigned broadcasting. Hey, throw at me all day, so Gordon isn't a luxury, he is a desperate need. I think Ryan Poles bet big on Gordon when he extended him in April. I think this front office knew that without a healthy Johnson, Gordon had to be the bedrock of this secondary. And I'll ask you, what if Gordon comes out looking rusty? What if all those months off actually wrecked his timing? Because against Washington, we can't afford screw-ups. Terry McLaurin's hurt, Noah Brown's hurt, but Daniels is a wizard in the pocket and with his legs. If our secondary isn't locked in, if Gordon isn't a full go, Daniels is going to rip us apart just like he did during last year's Hail Mary. And let's talk about the timing. Gordon's coming back right after the bye. That's not a coincidence. The organization planned it. Gave him an extra week of rest, extra prep, extra time on the playbook, and with Allen's tweaks from the first for weeks. That's smart. That's planned. But here's the truth. Football isn't played on paper. It's played under the lights on Monday Night Football with the whole country watching. And if Gordon comes back and has a rough night, if Daniels targets and burns him, those $40 million are going to look like the worst deal of the Ryan Poles era. I believe in Gordon's talent. When he's right, he's one of the best slot corners around. He reads routes, presses aggressive, tackles in the open field. All that's there. Question is, after sitting for months, is it still there? Here's what makes me worry most. TJ Edwards is also returning from a hamstring injury. He missed 2 games and now he's back. That's great for our linebacker group. But think about this. 2 key defensive pieces, both coming off hamstrings. Both back in the same game. What does that say about our training staff? What does that say about how we're handling injuries? I'm not saying it's negligence, but I am saying that when 2 major pieces of your defense miss weeks with the same injury, there are questions to be asked. Are our recovery protocols up to snuff? Are we rushing guys back? Because if Gordon comes out and tweaks that hamstring again in the first quarter, this season's toast. There is no plan B. We have no depth at corner. Fuller cannot lock down this secondary on his own. And throwing rookies or practice squad guys into the fire against an elite NFL offense is tactical suicide. So Gordon coming back isn't just news. It's the news of our week. It's literally the difference between having a chance in Washington or letting Daniels light us up for 40 like it's 7-on-7 in July. Let me ask you straight up, do you believe Gordon will be ready? Or do you get that pit in your gut thinking we're about to watch him struggle with live game speed? Because I've got both faith in the talent, anxiety about the timing. If you think that's wild, just wait for what's next. What's next? Time to talk about the elephant in the room. The $98 million man. The edge rusher who was supposed to haunt QBS. The guy Ryan Poles traded for and gave the largest deal in franchise history for a defender. Montez Sweat. And before you come at me in the comments, let me be clear. I respect Montez Sweat. I respect his work ethic. I respect what he's brought this defense. But I also have eyes. And from the moment that damn Hail Mary beat us against Washington last year, Sweat has not been anywhere close to the player we thought we were getting. The numbers don't lie. In his first 16 games as a Bear after the Washington trade, Sweat put up 9.5 sacks, 20 QB hits, 3rd of 4 pressures, elite. Those are edge rusher numbers you pay for. But check this out. In the 13 games since the Hail Mary, 3 sacks, 14 pressures, 9 QB hits. Those aren't numbers for a $98 million guy. That's straight up backup. Rotational stats. So I'll ask, what changed? How'd we go from game record to just a guy who O-line seemed to neutralize every week? Ryan Poles was right at training camp. Sweat had his best offseason. He came in shape. He came ready. But the production is Mia. Dennis Allen, our defensive coordinator, said it this week. And I quote, Montez has been consistent in the run game. Consistent in the run game? I'm not paying $98 million for a DN to do his job against the run. That's the bare minimum. Elite defensive ends are QB wreckers, period. I don't care if you hold up the run or your gap sound. If you don't pressure the QB, if you're not hitting him, you're not earning that money. Here's what drives me nuts. Teams figured out how to neutralize Sweat, chip blocks, double teams. And because we have nobody else consistently getting pressure on the other side, teams can throw extra bodies at Sweat. Deo Odangbo, our other DN, has 1 sack this year, 1 pressure, just 3 QB hits, 5 total pressures. That's nothing. And when your opposite edge isn't producing, Jarrett's banged up every week. It's way too easy for O-lines to gang up on Sweat, but here comes Sweat's golden ticket. Monday Night Football. Washington Commanders. His old team. The place where it all started. Josh Connerly Jr., rookie right tackle out of Oregon. The 29th overall pick is going to be trying to block Sweat. Check Connerly's grades. He's already allowed for sacks per Pro Football Focus for penalties. Ranked 88th out of 112 tackles in the league. This kid is fighting for his life out there. Just a rookie dealing with real NFL speed. Sweat a legit vet at his best should eat. So here's my call. If Sweat can't put up at least 5 pressures and 2 hits on the quarterback Monday, we need to have some serious contract conversations. Because there's no excuse. Rookie tackle. Washington's O-line has issues. Daniels is mobile, but he's still a first-year kid. This is the night for Sweat to remind everyone why he's the highest-paid guy on this defense. This is his night to shut up all the critics. This is the night to prove those $98 million actually mean something. And I think Sweat gets it. I think he knows going back to Washington, under the bright lights, facing his old team in a crowd that's probably gonna boo. This is his shot to make a statement. Not just for Bears fans, but for the whole league. Look, when Sweat came to Chicago in that trade, when Poles handed him that monster deal, the message was clear. This was the rusher we'd been missing. This was the guy who would take the defense to the next level. And for 16 games, he delivered. Then something shifted. Was it the Hail Mary? That soul crusher when Marcus Mariota tossed up a prayer and we lost. Did it break something in Sweat mentally? It looks suspicious. The drop-off started right then. Allen says he's got to scheme better to get Sweat into more one-on-one chances. I agree, but also when you've got Sweat's talent, that first step burst, that speed, that power, you've got to win your matchups no matter the scheme. Big-time players always find a way. Von Miller, Khalil Mack in his prime, T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett. Those dudes always find a way to get home, chips and double teams or not. If Sweat wants into that top-tier edge rusher club, he's got to do it too. And here's my biggest fear. What if this isn't a cold streak? What if these 13 games since the Hail Mary aren't just a blip, but the new reality? What if teams figured out Sweat's tape and it's game over? If that's the case, Ryan Poles has a monster problem on his hands. That $98 million contract isn't going anywhere. Sweat's locked in for years. And if he can't get back to those first 16 game numbers, we just wasted cash and resources that should have gone somewhere else. But I'm not about to quit on Sweat. I still believe the talent is there. I think Monday night in Washington is the inflection point. I think we're going to see the Montez Sweat that lit up Chicago when he first showed up. Because when Sweat is balling, this defense is different. When he's getting pressure, forcing quarterbacks out of the pocket, making life easier on the linebackers, the whole group jumps up a level. So I'm asking directly, do you still believe in Montez Sweat? Or is it time to admit that contract was a bust? Because Monday night, we're getting our answer. And if you thought it was done. Now let's talk about the quarterback who nearly broke this fanbase in two. The guy who'll always be the center of Chicago bar debates. The one who still has defenders on social media acting like he's still repping Navy and Orange. Justin Fields. I know Fields fans are here, watching. There are folks who still think we messed up trading him for Caleb Williams. To those folks, look at what happened last week in London. Because what Fields did against Denver not only proves Ryan Poles was spot on, it shows Fields was never gonna be that guy in Chicago. 9 completions out of 17 attempts, 45 passing yards, 45 yards through the air, 31 yards rushing on 7 carries. That's a JV stat line. My nephew's high school games on Fridays are wilder than that. The Jets, a team that gave Fields a 2-year, $40 million free agent deal, made him their starter after the Aaron Rodgers injury and got nothing. Absolutely zero. The Jets' offense was so lifeless it looked like a preseason scrimmage out there. So let me ask, are you surprised? Because I'm not. I watched this movie for 3 years in Chicago. The same problems processing defenses. The same lack of accuracy. Same inability to read and react quickly. Fields has crazy physical gifts, no doubt. Big-time arm, crazy powerful legs. When Fields scrambles, he can make you jump out of your seat. But football isn't just about being a freak athlete. It's about processing. It's about decision-making under fire. Fields never had that piece. 3 years here. We saw flashes. We saw moments where Fields looked like the future. That 2018 playoff season we went 12-4. Fields had his highlights. But for every spark, there were 5 drives ending in 3 and outs because Fields couldn't read a defense, wouldn't let go of the ball, or panicked when his first read was covered. And when Ryan Poles flipped Fields to Pittsburgh for next to nothing, and we used the number 1 overall pick on Caleb Williams, half the city lost it. Everybody said Poles was making the dumbest move in franchise history. Here's my take. Ryan Poles is a genius. He saw what some fans refused to see. He saw the ceiling. It didn't matter how many coaches we ran through, how many new schemes. Fields was always going to be a QB with a highlight reel and a limited mind for the pro game. Now, Fields is in New York, grinding to hang on as starter, while Aaron Rodgers is about to come back putting up numbers. That would make any high school quarterback embarrassed. That's our closure. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams is coming along, growing every week, showing exactly why Poles picked him. Yeah, he's made mistakes. Yeah, he's looked like a rookie at times. But Williams has what Fields never developed: the ability to learn, adjust, get better each week. And this fires me up most. Williams is just getting started. We're 6 weeks into his career. You see the processing, the ability to hit tight windows, read defenses. All things Fields never did consistently in 3 full years. Give it 5 years. We'll look back and laugh that there was even a debate. We'll laugh we actually thought Fields could be the answer. Because Williams is gonna be a star. Williams is the guy to finally carry us back to where we haven't been since 1985. For all you Fields fans still in denial, still thinking we goofed, I'm telling you, watch him play for the Jets. Watch him fighting for every completion against real NFL defenses. Then go watch Caleb. Watch how he moves the pocket. Watch his reads. Watch how every week he gets a little better. The gap is obvious. It's not close. And Poles deserves all the props for having the guts to make the right move. When everybody in Chicago seemed ready to riot. Fields will have a decent career as a backup. He'll win a few games when the starter gets hurt. But he's never going to be the guy. He's never going to be the franchise quarterback Chicago hoped for, and that's okay. Not every quarterback is meant to be great. Some are all physical and no football brain. Fields is exhibit A. So next time you see Fields out there for the Jets, struggling to hit 50% of his throws. Remember this moment. Remember Poles saw it coming. Trading for Caleb was the right play. I'm asking, is there anyone left who still thinks we messed up? Anyone who saw Fields in London and thinks we should have kept him? If so, I honestly don't know what more you need to see. So let's break it down. A $40 million corner coming back without a single down all year. A $98 million edge rusher going up against his former team. With everything on the line. And the ex-QB who tore this city into. Confirming Ryan Poles saw the future clearer than any of us. 3 stories. One truth, this Monday Night Football game against Washington will make or break our season. Either Kyler Gordon comes through and stabilizes the secondary, or Daniels drops 40 on us. Either Montez Sweat finally wrecks a rookie tackle, or we admit the contract was a bad call. Either we keep believing Caleb Williams is the guy, or we start losing sleep. So here's my question. Will Kyler Gordon step up or come out rusty? Drop a comment, let me know. Will Montez Sweat break out against Washington or keep fading away? I need to hear from you. And Justin Fields, anyone still think we screwed up? This isn't just a bunch of Bears fans. This is family. In this family, we tell it like it is. Good or bad. When the front office gets it right or totally blows it. Right now, with everything on the line, I want to know what this family thinks. If you believe Gordon's the difference, smash that like. If you think Sweat is about to ball out in Washington, subscribe because I'll drop a full post-game breakdown and I promise you it's gonna be fire. If you know we made the smart move moving off Fields, share this video. There are folks who seriously need to get this reality check. And listen up, I'm here every day bringing you the kind of content nobody else is. Deep dives, real numbers, raw, unfiltered takes. Because you all deserve more than the same recycled highlights every other channel is pumping out. So join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because when the bomb drops after Monday night, you'll want to be the first to know. And trust me, it's going to blow up. For better or worse, something huge is happening Monday. Bear down, family. Catch you after the game. And let the Commanders know Chicago's coming to fight.